Yo guys, welcome to a new video. Today we will be talking about 13 lives. Alright, so 13 Lives is the movie about the incredible true story. Is set in 2018 when the little soccer team containing of 12 players and a coach got trapped in a cave that got flooded. The movie is incredible. The story behind it is incredible. This is one of the first movies based on a true story where I actually followed the real story myself. I was following that pretty closely. I was reading a lot of articles about it. Didn't know anything about it. I didn't know everything about it, but I knew some things and I knew the details. I didn't know the names, but I knew about who was trying to save those boys and what teams they were trying to save those boys and how many countries and how many people were actually there saving those boys. But obviously the saving method, I didn't know that because that was not released to the public when it happened. That's what happened afterwards. And everything else, yeah, there were a lot of things in the movie that even I still learned because I did not know these things, even though I followed the story pretty closely. So it was interesting to see a movie about this. And when I first saw it getting released on Amazon Prime, I didn't even know it was getting made. So that was quite interesting, seeing the cast starring Colin Farrell, Viggo Mortensen, Joel Edgerton, and a lot of other famous guys. I mean, I was like, wow, this is interesting. But then it got released on Amazon Prime, and not a lot of people in the world have Amazon Prime, and I think that's quite sad because this movie deserves everything that has been coming for it. I mean, it's a great movie, but I don't think it will be received by that big of an audience just because it got dumped on Amazon Prime. I think it would have done better as maybe a theatrical release, at least for a week or two, or maybe another streaming service coinciding with this one. Amazon Prime is a good place for this movie to be on, but it's just not a lot of people are gonna see this movie because not a lot of people, I think, have Amazon Prime Video. Many people have Amazon, but not Amazon Prime. Okay, but 13 Lives tells the incredible story about that soccer team, and I gotta say the way the story was made was phenomenal. We start following those boys and we get familiar with those boys, and pretty immediately they get into the cave, and when they enter and when they actually get trapped, we only see a few clouds, we see the rain coming in, we see the first monsoon starting, but then again, starting from that point, we do not see these boys until they are found. So that choice was odd, but in a fantastic way. Because we, as an audience, we follow those boys going into the cave, but we mostly follow the rescue operation. And I first thought it was quite a weird choice to not show the boys how they survived, but then again, we don't know that because we did not follow that story following the boys' perspective. We only followed the rescue op, and making it that we only saw these boys again after they were discovered, and even then only when our main team went to the boys, we only saw the boys. That was incredibly interesting, and that was a great choice made by the movie. The movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and like in the first 15 minutes the boys get trapped and the entire redding operation is getting started. Like half an hour into this movie, we're already a few days in when our British and American teams arrive at the site, and then another 15 minutes later we found the boys. So it went incredibly fast, like incredibly fast. And I was kind of scared because we still had like 2 hours of movie left and we already were with those boys. And I was like, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna fill it? And they did it in a great way because finding the boys was the easy part of the operation. Scanning the cave and mapping the cave was the easy part. But then they had to save the boys, and there was no possible way of saving them. And That story arc and how they came up with the plans to save them and how they did everything to get those boys out, that was the best part of this movie. That is where this movie's great strength lies. That is the thing that makes this movie as good as it is. It's just the sheer hopelessness that everyone experiences, especially the character from Viggo Mortensen. He did a great job being the realist of the team, and that was awesome because there were no odds where these kids survived. So when the movie happens and you get to the ending and you get to know the main story and you know if they made it or not, that is interesting to see how that played out. And I'm so happy that the movie did that justice. Another thing apart from the story that's great about this movie is the way they handled things by showing the characters, showing the nature, showing the monsoon as a character in and of itself. That was pretty great. You saw the clouds coming in, the rain was scary in and of itself. They did a great job on that. The entire team and the entire reading operation, the parents, all were played out wonderfully. But a standout for me were the flooded scenes. The scenes where they dove to the kids. The scenes where they were mapping out everything, the scenes where they were roping around so they could actually have a pathway. Those scenes were phenomenal. Everything in the water was phenomenal just because of how claustrophobic it felt. They really nailed everything on that aspect. Just knowing how tight those gaps were, how incredibly difficult it was to get everyone to the kids and then get the kids even back. That was maybe the best part of this movie. So yeah, 13 Lives, it's a must watch. If you do not have Amazon Prime, just take a 7-day trial or something like that, because this movie is worth watching if you followed the story in 2018. It's not even that old. It is worth watching. I still have to watch the documentary The Rescue, but I will definitely do so after I saw this movie. So yeah, there's a lot of content you can watch. The Rescue, it's on Disney+. You can watch that too. Alright, I'm gonna give this movie 841 out of 1000 or 8.4 out of 10. Did you like this movie? Please let me know in the comments down below. I'm really excited to hear your opinion on it. Thank you for watching and goodbye.